We know it's going. Well, back to our load of fish. I think I know where it got this load. Um, it's a deck load. Wait, let me look and see if there's more pictures of it. Yeah. Yeah, I got my first aluminum skiff with a plywood bottom before I knew that you could actually make the floor out of aluminum. And I'm on that's got to be on the mainland. Okay. There he is, halibut. Eric catching a halibut. Trying to hold it by that tail because that's the only place that doesn't have teeth. And here we are, slides backwards. This is Liahona number 2, the first one out of the fiberglass mold. And we are in Linshack Bay on the Alaska Peninsula. And there we are, same place. Linshack Bay, went hydro, we tried to go dry every day, the tide to go out. It turned out to be a great fishing spot. Real blowhole, though. Wind blew like crazy there. Well, here we are leaving Kodiak, heading for Seattle. I think that might be Dan. The sun was out. It gets Dan laying down there in the hatch cover. We loaded his van on the deck, my truck on the deck, and my Toyota Corona Mark II. All on the deck. Man, I don't remember having that truck in Seattle, but maybe I hold it back up. Anyway, we got to be heading south. Oh, okay, this is funny. That'd be Eric upside down, I think. Now, this was the day, the first year my hair all fell out, and the crew, out of being sympathetic with my no hair situation, all decided to shave their heads. Except for Cloud. He shaved his head, but he didn't shave his beard. And that's Cloud. He might look at these pictures and get a kick out of seeing that. Anyway, there's Jeffrey and Cloud. Oh, man. Getting that hair chopped off there. Oh, boy. Anyway, okay. So here's Eric and our little airplane, 2626 kilo. And we landed up in the lake, Eric and Grandpa and me, and we went sport fishing. I see Eric holding some trout there. I think Grandpa went over his boots because I think he's drying his socks out. And here again, we are on the Alaska Peninsula, some of the beautiful, probably the very head of Geographic Harbor. Some of that white sandy beach and that white volcanic ash in the mountains. And that green alderbrush and green grass. I did a lot of flying in that airplane, thousands of hours of flying in that airplane. Taking pictures of all the neat things that are upland of what we'd see on the shore. This is actually looking out Kaflia Bay, or Halfordy Bay. Halfordy Bay was a red salmon stream, and they spawn in that lake right there. And we took a picture of that. Again, some of the beautiful Alaska Peninsula mainland area. That was a wonderful airplane. It was a 1979 Cessna 180. And I had it on a set of straight floats at first, aqua floats. They were really good floats. Here we are fishing again. And more pictures of various things. Oh, that's a nice looking fish. Must be a silver. Anyway, great times. And again, here over on the mainland. Oh, this must be flying down from Alaska to Seattle, because this is a place called Buttedale, where that lake drains out. Just a really gorgeous place. There's almost nothing left of those buildings anymore. There's one building left, and somebody has it. It's kind of a semi-lodge, and they kind of just live there. And there's the picture of the right. No, the other way was right. This is reversed. Oh, I don't know where this is. Too many places I've been. Huh. Anyway, little lakes and rivers and inside passage where usually I only go through with a boat. This could be Bella Bella. I don't know where it is. Could be Ketchikan. Looks awful big for, yeah. Anyway, Southeast Alaska. There's the plane when we first got it. with a wiggly picture before I painted that brown red. And Dad and I bought it together. We went halves on it. And so, because it became more and more important to have a spotter pilot if you were going to be a herring fisherman. So look at all that hair on me anyway. Looks like some kind of a hippie there. But anyway, that's when we first bought it. Dad took flying lessons, learned how to fly it, but then decided he was a little too late in life to learn how to fly. Of course, I'd just been 4 years in Coast Guard aviation, so I had a lot of flying under the belt. And I don't know, he's posing here. But anyway, it was pretty fun though. Here's Liahona number 2, the first fiberglass Liahona I built. I don't know what we're doing or where we're doing it. Port Angeles probably. Working on something, changing propeller. And here we are launching it. And here it is in probably over on the Alaska Peninsula where I spent a lot of time. Let's see, is that the same one? Yep, that's the same one. Aluminum skiff. And there it is in Linchak Bay. We're in Linchak Bay. We caught a lot of fish out of Linchak Bay. This is when I was on my mission. And Dad took a picture. He said, this is a picture of 3 crabs. That was his funny, which I've copied. This was a sad deal. This boat called Marion was coming across from the mainland headed for Port Williams on autopilot, and the guy fell asleep at the wheel. And full bore, full speed, hit with a load of salmon, hit the rocks just outside of Port Williams. And there was we hooked onto it, we towed on it, we could not get it off the rocks. And so that's where it ended. That was its last resting place. There was a cattle rancher out in Ugak Bay named Hurst, Ron Hurst. And he had a cattle ranch out there. He had Scottish Highlander cattle. And life was good as a rancher except for one thing, and that was the bears. So he was an all-out war against Kodiak bears. And there was a pile of skulls. Anyway, we're holding some of the skulls. He killed a lot of bears. He even mounted a machine gun on a Super Cub. So he could fly around with a machine gun and kill bears. And finally, Fish and Game thought, this isn't very nice of you to do this. So they put him out kind of put him out of the bear killing business. But he got a lot of them, I'll tell you. Me holding the fish as a teenager. There's the old Sea Scout. And making a set. And the picture's reversed because we never made a set left-hand set. We always made right-hand sets, but the picture's reversed. So that's a right-hand set with the camera turned around, the slide turned around. Oh, that's after Dad sold it to John Vollmer. John was my diving instructor in Santa Cruz, or up in the San Lorenzo Valley in California. Great diver, could hold his breath forever. Anyway, he bought the Sea Scout and Seine for a few years. And here's the Mormon with a load of fish. I don't remember where this, we loaded a lot of times. Well, Dad was never real religious Mormon, so he painted a little, first he painted a little jackass under where it said Mormon because he felt like he was a Jack Mormon. And Mom got rid of that. The next thing you know, he had this mermaid sticker under Mormon. So Mom got up there with a felt pen and sort of fixed that up too, so it wasn't so, but anyway, challenge. Oh, man, let's see, Kodiak. And we're in Kodiak. And there's my sweet little redhead. What a cutie. And there was our first house in Kodiak on Willow Street, 70. I don't remember the number. I don't see it either. And our first little red Volkswagen van that we owned together, and that was where we lived. That's where Eric was born. This was a very cold winter, about 1973, and most of the ocean bays actually froze over with ice. And this was Anton Larsen Bay, froze over solid. And I don't know why that crooked picture's in there. That's Kodiak. More Kodiak. More Kodiak. Oh, ain't that something? That's when Mommy was writing to me. Mommy. That's when Jane was writing to me when I was in the, before we got married, when I was in the Coast Guard stationed in Jacksonville, Florida. We first started writing. And this is one of the first pictures I ever got from her. She had braces. Oh, dear. And she got a sailor hat, just to look. Oh, let's see. Easter Bunny. Let's see. Was it right there through Easter? I don't remember. Maybe that was just a Valentine's. That's a Valentine's card. February 4th. So I must have been there for Valentine's Day. Well, this is a bad shot of my dad, but he was trying to figure out which side of my camera you look through to take a picture. And he was looking through the wrong side of the camera. He's looking in the lens, going, how do you work this thing? Click. Well, there I am. That's what he was trying to take a picture of, me. With hair. Oh, strange looking guy with hair. And here's the house in Kodiak, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, this is inside the Panabode house. When I got home from my mission in Brazil, this was the house where Mom and Dad were. And when Jane and I were engaged, this is the house where she came up and visited Kodiak for a while. And I was stationed out at the base and living out at the base, and she lived with Mom and Dad in this house. I'm in the Coast Guard, I think, in the barracks, I believe. And I don't know why I have that cheesy grin on my face. Picture time, must be my mom taking, oh, that's right. Jane is showing off a little tummy, which became Eric. And there we are above town. Here I am in the Coast Guard. Yep, Top Gun looking picture, and the picture's backwards, so I can't tell what it says, but that was a dress uniform, Coast Guard uniform. There's our first van. There's some of my Coast Guard buddies in the Coast Guard. I was their class leader in Jacksonville, Florida. And anyway, some loved me and some hated me. And I guess this is supposed to look cool. I think that was in Jacksonville, Florida. Oh my goodness, is this Christmas? This was our little house in Kodiak. We put new paneling on the wall. I took some sheets of 1/4-inch plywood and carved grooves in with a table saw and burned them with a torch and varnished them, and that became the siding. And I would say that's where we had our first Christmas, is my guess. Yep, see the snowflakes on the window? There you have it. Look at those pigtails. And this was the last house that Grandpa built in Kodiak, up above the Panabode. And there it is. What a beautiful place. And here I am. I bought in Marysville, Florida, or Marysville, Washington. I bought a hull from Ledford Marine, and a fiberglass hull. And then these are deck beams, and I'm first starting the job. And I spent the winter building my very first boat. And that's the Lyric at the top of the stairs watching me. And some of the shots inside building the deck and deck beams, and kind of an early boat building experience for me, all kind of under a tarp. And it came out looking pretty darn good, actually. There it is. And then we had a truck come in. I made that big sawhorse over the back and a couple chain hoists and lifted up the stern and then blocked up the bow, and the flatbed truck backed under it. And then we jacked the bow down and hauled it to the water. And there it is getting launched. It was on the truck backwards since we had to load it that way. So here they are, sticking it in the water. Still a lot of work to do. I had to put up the mast, boom, earlier I got a lot of pictures of this boat, so you've seen the tar out of this boat. There's a steering wheel with a story. That's when I got home from my mission. That Mel Kachuk, my beloved shop teacher and friend, built me this steering wheel. He even cast the hub in the middle, made it all in pieces. I got home from my mission. He gave me this box, and in the box were all these pieces. And he says, there's a steering wheel when you build yourself a boat. And I did, and it was on every one of my boats. except this last boat, and I couldn't make it fit in the space that I had for it. But it's still on this last boat, the Kimura. It's like a picture on the wall. It isn't functional, but it makes it so it's been on every single one of my boats. And there it is. It was an amazing steering wheel. There's my Perkins engine in the back, which was my creative wanting to do something different. Fresh galvanized. There I am in the Coast Guard again. I'm taking pictures of walrus on the beach out on the Alaska Peninsula. And I've seen that herd to where there were tens of thousands of walrus in that herd. It had covered acres. It's at, I forgot the name of the point. Anyway, that's walrus on the beach. There's more of them. And here I am, my very first season on the Liahona. There weren't any salmon. So, and didn't have to get a permit to fish, so I was fishing halibut. And that's putting out halibut gear. Wait a minute. I'm fishing with my dad. I'm putting out halibut gear on his boat, not my boat. And I'm cleaning halibut here, as a matter of fact. Got really good at it. Ta-da. The big ones, the little ones. Oh boy, here Dad and I took a trip over to Cape Douglas, fishing halibut, and the wind came up with this terrible storm and didn't catch any halibut, and we tried to tough it out over there and came home with like one halibut. Over there stuck in a storm for 7 days. Had to go dry every day. It was very miserable. Look at the ice and snow, really cold. Razor clams, fun to dig. You have to be quick to get them because they dig faster than you can. And they make a really good meal. And so there's bucket razor clams. Now, I do not know what this is in the distance. My guess is a bunch of birds. Why I would take a picture of a bunch of birds, I do not know. Here is one of the places we fished near on the north side of Afognak Island. This beautiful country. In the woods, kind of a rainforest area. A place called Big Waterfall. Here we are back on the mainland again. Typical wind howling. The Cape Douglas area. No shelter. One of those miserable times. Yeah, look at this. It's horrible. So anyway, and this is tide rips going through Shuyak Straits, which is a place we had to go through to get the cannery at Port Williams, the little strait between Fognak Island and Shuyak Island. Here we are again in Kamishak with that halibut venture that failed. That's Mount Augustine in the background, which is an active volcano. Later years, I fished all around that when I stopped taking slides. Again, I'm flying the airplane. I must be flying the 180 because I see the wing strut, but it might have been when I was taking lessons flying a 172 because I got my pilot's license here in Kodiak. Yeah, it is. This is when one winter we flew when I finally had my license, we flew to Seldovia with me and Jane, and that was quite an adventure for us. Well, I decided that I could build my own boat the way I wanted it. It was going to be a twin screw fiberglass boat, but I had to build a mold. In order to build a mold, I had to build what we call a plug. And this is a picture of the plug. Or part of the beginning of the plug. And that may be the only picture you'll ever see of it. Then we moved out of Bell's Flats, bought a little piece of property at Bell's Flats, and decided to build this A-frame on piling. Challenge, see if I got more pictures of it. I don't. Here I am in the Coast Guard helicopter again. And a helicopter. That's probably me, but I don't know for sure. Okay, back to the boat. So that had to get planked. So I did the line drawings, and I had it. And this is and I built the shop in Sequim. It's in the shop. And this is the beginning of the boat. And then I had redwood made into 1x3s and 1x6s so that I could plank this plywood framework with these redwood planks and made it into a plug, into the plug for fiberglass. And here it is being built. Beautiful redwood, all clear redwood. But see, it's starting to look like a boat. And from it, we made a mold, and there's the mold. And the mold is coming out of the shop. I made 7 boats in that mold. Here again is in the shop looking out. The picture's backwards, so everything's on the wrong side. But there it is, nearly planked. And boy, kind of backwards. We'll go through these rather quickly. There it is, completely planked, including the stern corner piece, which is carved out of a big piece of a cedar tree that I cut down out behind the shop. And that created the thing. I just had to polish it and wax it and then lay fiberglass over it, and it became the mold. And I'm back in Kodiak again, building this A-frame in the winter. We froze our tails off out here, built this big floor up here, built this massive structure. What I didn't realize was that on certain northwest winds, the wind would blow 100 miles an hour. And this thing was a huge wind catcher right in this valley, Russian River, there out of Bell's Flats. Big building. And there it is, not done, but covered in snow. And we lived in this little warehouse, 1 window, 1 door warehouse. We built in 1 day with the help of the ward, the branch, I mean. And that's where Jane and I lived, and with Doug and Eric, and had 1 little oil stove that provided us the heat, and there wasn't near enough heat. It was so cold in that little place that where our blankets were tucked down next to our bed, they froze to the wall. We tried to insulate the wall by stuffing cardboard boxes between the bed and the wall. But the cardboard boxes froze and the blankets froze to the cardboard boxes. And then right next to our bed we had a porta potty, but unfortunately the contents of the porta potty froze so solid, this is in the middle of the room, that we couldn't dump the porta potty. Anyway, I'm surprised she didn't divorce me at this point. Here we are at the A-frames, finally it's got its roof. And that truck was that truck with a winch on it is how that place got built, virtually. I mean, that was the deal. I'll use lumber for it. And it started looking pretty good. There we got an upstairs and a downstairs and an attic and a basement on that steep side hill. Like I said, the only downside is when it blew northwest, it blew 100 miles an hour, and that whole thing shook like a continuous earthquake, which was not good. There it is again. And there it is. We parked a garage, had a garage underneath so we could park the car underneath. And that was our fun project to build that house. Up the hill was our little warehouse. And see, it's uphill looking down, getting it all sided and insulated. And this was our neighbors, the Ferns. They lived next door. And there we are, looking up at it. Found used windows, used lumber, used piling. I got the piling off the beach, creosote piling, drug them there in the truck. And my dear dad helped an immense amount on this project. And so did the members of the branch, Ken Manthe, and I might be out of pictures because this has ended. Hey, Richard. I think I'm done. All right. I think there's the last picture. I didn't get a picture of it burning down, but that'll be in some other photo album.